Charlie Vann here with Bachelorette Season 16 contestant Riley Christian. Riley, how are you, man?
I'm fantastic, brother. How are you?
I'm pretty good. You know, it's a new year. So, do you like to make any like New Year's resolutions or goals?
You know what? It's crazy. Like, I actually do. Whether I keep up with them is another thing.
I think that's
Um,
everybody's kind of.
I know, right? A big one for me though, actually, was just trying to stay patient in 2021. I mean, 2020 was crazy, man. We had this pandemic coming in. People unfortunately, like, losing jobs, and people are, you know, um, um, just getting sick from this COVID-19, and it could just whirl you. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, I'm just like, all right, just stay focused, stay patient. Good things are on the way. We got the vaccine hopefully coming soon. So yeah, that's all I'm trying to do. Really, is just stay patient. Excuse me.
Well, how's life been for you since the show wrapped up back in December? Has it been crazy? And what was it like going back and rewatching your whole experience?
All right. So the first question, just what has it been like? Yes, it's been crazy to say the least, right? You come back to New York City after going through that whole experience, and then you start to see yourself, on TV. And for one, I had no idea how it would look on TV. I had never seen the show, before I even had gone on it.
Mhm.
So to see myself, played back, and how I interacted, with the Bachelorette, and things like that. I mean, it's been wild, and it's also been wild for people to, recognize me, in the gym or on the street. I'm not used to that at all. But I mean, it's great. The people are great. Life is crazy. My job's crazy, but it's all good at the end of the day.
Well, just going back to your experience. First of all, you said you never watched this show before. Did you apply or did somebody nominate you?
Okay, I'll tell you the story, right? It's pretty crazy. So I was actually nominated, to answer the question. I was in court one day down in Brooklyn, and a good friend of mine, an attorney, her name is Flo, phenomenal attorney, very cool. She walks up to me and she's like, "Hey, you need to be on this show, The Bachelorette." And I'm like, "Flo, what are you talking about? Shut up, Flo." And she's like, "No, no, no, I'm serious. You need to be on this show. Let me take your picture." And I'm in plain clothes picture. So I do like a little half smile, and she snaps the photo. She does the application. She sends it in. And then somebody reaches out to me from the show. And I was like, "Are you serious?" And I mean, I think this was a couple of years ago, and they just kind of stayed on it. And, that's the rest is history, I guess.
So what was that? How did you find out though that you were going to be, or at least going through the casting process?
What do you mean
Or
exactly?
like, when did they just call you right out of the blue? Because this was originally in March, right? Or originally before, because production was what,
Um,
July when it got rescheduled.
Yeah, I can't remember. I wasn't a part of that original cast, so I
Okay,
don't know how it all went down with
yeah.
them. I do know that once COVID hit, they
Yeah.
reached back out to me and were like, "Hey, got the show," and you go through the process, and then boom, I was cast to be on the show. So I mean, that's how it all worked out for me. It was pretty crazy, and everything stopped kind of on a dime, but here we are.
How did your job take? Like, oh, you're going on the Bachelorette,
Oh
and did
man,
you get
oh
to
man.
you
Okay,
use all your PTO time, your vacations?
listen, it was pretty bizarre, right? So all of the partners and stuff like that at my firm, everybody's great.
Mm.
But of course, I'm still nervous because I know I may have to take a significant amount of time off from work. So, I call up one of the partners, very cool guy, and I'm like, "Hey, I have this request. I recently been cast. I don't know if you heard of the show, but The Bachelorette." He starts laughing. He's like, "Yes, I've heard of the show." And I was like, "Well, I've been cast on the show. I wanted to know, if I could do it." And he goes, "Riley, I gotta say, this is the most bizarre request I've ever had." And I was just like,
There's no
"Okay,
reality show time in most jobs.
yeah, I know, right?" But he was like, "Okay, let me just see if I can, talk to the other partners and clear it with them."
Yeah.
But an indicator that I would probably get approved is that before I got off the phone, he says, "Hey, Riley, can you do me a favor and send me a headshot? I want to show it to my daughter, so because she loves the show." And I was like, "All right, cool, no problem." So I'll send him that, and then next week he was like, "Yeah, you can go and do it. It's great. Have a good time." So
Did Flo or anybody give you any pointers before flying out to be on the show? Like what to possibly expect?
Not at all. So I mean, once I found out, I think I did a little bit of research because I knew the Bachelorette was Claire.
Yeah.
And Claire seemed great, so I was like, okay, yeah, I'm into this. Let me do some research on Claire. Let me find out about her. But I didn't watch any, episodes on the show, so I didn't even know, the whole, get out of a limo deal. None of that. I just went in there just fresh. Had a good time with it.
It's got to be actually, that might be even better, just not knowing, just being surprised and the whole mystery instead of maybe being like a super fan that every little moment. So maybe your expectations are right up here or. So, but talk about that, you get out of the limo. What was going through your mind? Were you really nervous? I mean, how did you feel in that moment? Because I was talking I had Connor Saley on here who was on Hannah's season, and he was talking about when he first met her, like just going through what he was going to say, when he met her. So what was that going at all through your mind?
Oh yeah, listen, let me tell you, I was nervous as hell, man.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I didn't know. I mean, you are coming into a space, somebody that you don't know, and she knows why you're there. You're here to try to marry me,
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, what do I say? Don't choke, don't trip, don't choke, don't, slob or fumble over your words, whatever. But I remember like the night before, just really, really going over like, what I was gonna say, and just to try not to screw it up when I got out there. And when I stepped out of the limo, for one, Claire looked amazing. I was like, wow, this dress is a killer. And I walk up and I'm trying to make sure, all right, I'm smiling, remember what you're gonna say. And I'm like, don't drop a lawyer line, and out comes the lawyer line. And I'm like, here we go. All right, whatever. But, it was what it was. I mean, I was nervous, but I think after watching it all back, I think it went okay.
What's the best like lawyer pickup line? Like, what's a good one?
Oh, you put me on the spot, huh? Wow. Like, to be honest, I'm not a pickup line really kind of guy, to be honest. Because if I don't even like for people to really know that I'm a lawyer, it's just for whatever reason I don't. I think it kind of comes off as like snooty, like, oh, you're just telling me, you're like, I don't want to do that, So I just try to keep it low key and just have a casual conversation, and which is very, very strange because after all of that, I got on the show and still dropped the lawyer line. It's like, what were you thinking, Riley? But I mean, I wanted to have all in good fun. I want to have a good time with it, and I also wanted her, to remember me. There were a lot of guys there that first night. You got to do something, whether it's cheesy or corny. Tell her who you are, and get it out there, and it worked.
Or Bennett driving up in a Rolls Royce. That was interesting.
Yes, I can't top that. I can't top that. If you want to make a first impression, that's a pretty damn good one. I'll say that.
Did it go through your mind at all that you wanted to do something unique, or did you just want to just be yourself? Because it's always intriguing though that intros, like there's people who just play it straight, just themselves, and those who go out and do some funny stuff, goofy stuff.
Yeah, so I really wanted to be myself, to be honest. I mean, that's just a big part in forming a relationship. And then with the limited time, you have on the show and being with the Bachelorette, I think it was just very important for me to just be real at all times. If you can just get right out of the gate, tell her who you are. Yeah, you can do it in a, a corny, silly type of way, but, tell her who you are. So then, you can start to get the ball rolling, as opposed to, me coming out, with a prop or something like that, which is also fine. It just wasn't for me.
And when you get in that house after all the introductions, what's kind of going through your mind then when you're meeting all the guys? I know you come from a competitive baseball background, collegiate, so you're used to that high level competition, but also hanging out with the guys. So what was that like? And what were some of the bonds and friendships that you made right away?
Well, when I first got in there, first of all, it was just a big weight off of my chest that I had just met Claire. I was like, all right, I got through that without freaking out. So then when you get inside, I mean, it was fine. I mean, some of the other guys, were there. I was just talking to them, and for me, it was really a feeler type of thing. Because like you just said, I am competitive, right? And I still know why I'm there. So me really, it wasn't in my mind that, oh, I'm going to come here and I'm going to make a bunch of friends with the guys. I think ultimately some relationships form, but when I first got there, that was not my intention. It was just like, all right, whatever, you're here, I'm here, and you're cool, but that's my wife there, so calm down. I do think though, I mean, after it's all said and done though, I do keep in touch with some guys. Jordan C. Chapman, Ivan DeMar, Noah and Bennett, actually, both of those guys. Yeah, I know, right? It's pretty crazy. And then also I keep in touch with Jason as well. So yeah, I got some guys from the show that
Have you ever had to compete for a girl before the show? Like maybe going back in college? Like, is there anyone?
Well, I'll say I think everybody in a sense is competing for a girl. I mean, there's no, set like, oh, when I introduce myself, you're all mine. It didn't work that way. So I think yeah, I've competed for a girl before, but definitely not in this sense where I walk up and I know everybody else here is competing for the exact same thing, and we know like it was nothing like that. All right.
Well, I want to fast forward, obviously, Claire had left and Tayshia
Yes.
came in. Of course, we see, watching back, you guys are just like, what is going on? Like, just going back through that experience, you're like, well, this is the quickest show.
yeah, that's how it felt. Yeah, when the whole Claire thing went down, I think it was kind of a shock to everybody, because you don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, I was focused on doing my thing. I had gotten the group date rose from Claire. I thought things were going well. I was like, hey, let's keep it moving. And then it abruptly stopped, and she chose Dale, which is completely fine. I mean, love is love. If that's how they felt at the time, great. I'm happy for them. But that still leaves us with the okay. But how do we find love? What do we do? Okay. Tayshia comes in and it was just like, whew, okay, all right, here we go again. I'm ready. She was, phenomenal. Obviously physically attractive, but her just her energy. She was very outgoing, very charismatic, good listener, all that stuff. I can't say enough good things about Tayshia if I haven't, said great things on the show. I could keep going on and on. She was great.
Have you knew about her before, like just doing your research on the show, or no, that was the first?
No, so I knew absolutely. All right, I was completely unprepared for Tayshia. I'll say that. See, Claire, I had a little bit of opportunity to, look into, but for Tayshia, it was just like, nope, she's coming in. I don't know anything about her, where she's from, what she does, dating history, like none of that. Like, and those are things like you just want to know to try to feel somebody out. But at the same time, it felt good because it was very organic. She was meeting me for the first time. I'm meeting her for the first time, and we get to just laugh and joke along the way, and figure each other out. It was difficult though because like the time constraints, but hey, you make do with what you got. We all have the same thing, and you just talk to her and try to find the love.
First of all, I didn't know that water polo was, or like it was considered splash ball. Like I never heard that before.
Me neither. All right, I had no idea. I just went with the title, and I was like, hey, if this is what you want to call it, this is what you want to call it. I just know that I'm playing some basketball while I'm in the water. Let's do it. That's how I felt.
How hot was it out there? Because I'm going to say this. You guys kept it very well from not like showing like pit stains and sweat stains through. Because
yeah. All right. So it was scorching in the Kingston. I mean, I think one of the days it might have been a record heat of like 120 degrees. It was steaming out there. And now that day, I remember, walking around the pool. And I'm just like, all right, I need to keep my socks or my sandals or something on until I get in the water because like the bottom of my feet are just steaming, man. It was pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, it just because normally I know the show is normally like March time, so summertime it's got to be a little bit steamy, but that seemed fun. Splash ball, around that time, I think is when baseball and basketball started coming back, like right around July when you guys were recording. So I'm like, splash ball could definitely be on ESPN. like that could definitely.
I wouldn't mind it if our, I wouldn't mind if they would have put our game on ESPN, even though I was on the losing team. But that's all right. I took some shots, I missed. But it's all right.
What I did like about that though is that she still acknowledged you guys even after like, hey, I'm not forgetting about you guys either. Like I thought that was really cool of her to like acknowledge like, hey, I still want to get, even though you guys lost, like I'm still here for you.
Yeah, so that goes to that's just another testament to Tayshia, right? Because I thought, loser goes home. Loser, you can't see Tayshia. And I was like, me and the rest of the team was just like, this is not okay. I'm kind of devastated here because I want to get to know her. And this is like that was the first group date. So I was like, I want to know who she is. And she was like, no, you can all still come to, the after party or whatever. She'll see us there. And yeah, and then after the after party, we just continued to have a good time. So I really appreciated her for doing that, because like I keep saying, the time is limited. And if you don't get in there and have an opportunity to showcase who you are and talk to her, it can all be over soon. And I really, really wanted to know who she was.
Now, when you did get to like that, have a one-on-one conversation with her, like what was kind of going through your mind at that point? Were you still nervous, or was it just like old friends almost?
When I finally got the one-on-one time, yeah, I was nervous. I was definitely nervous. I can't lie about that. But I think because having gone through the process already, with Claire, I think I was able to, relax a little bit more. But I just really wanted to talk to her, find out, just some silly things, but also like some core values, because at the end of the day, we're talking about getting married and getting engaged, stuff like that. So we gotta like get to it quick. But also wanted to try to be cool and, laugh and joke a little bit and stuff like that. So I think it was a nice fluid conversation.
What was that on your mind for a while though? Just even with Claire, like about, your background, your family, your name, like, was that something that you were thinking about eventually, or just kind of playing it, see where things go before opening up that far?
It's always on my mind, right? It's a significant thing in my life, and I understand that I have to share it. It's just, how fast do I share it? I don't want, I can't just come off on the first day like, hey, so my name is not really my name, and I did this back
right away.
Like,
just, let's get that out of the air after you say hi.
Yeah, I didn't want her to think, I was out of my mind or something like that. So yes, I thought about it, but I was like, maybe once we get to know each other down the line, I'll bring it up subtly,
Yeah.
And it all just kind of came to a head right there, really, with the lie detector test. And I had an opportunity to not say it. I could have tried to schmooze over it or something like that, but I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to keep it real. I came on the show telling myself that I would be real. I had strong feelings for Tayshia, and I was like, I want to keep it real with her. Let's do it. And yeah, it got me emotional, but I'm so happy I did it, and I'm glad I was able to share that, moment with Tayshia.
And then, right there, at the end, of course, I know it wasn't the result you wanted. And that, for me, that was like, because I was rooting for you the whole, like, that was a hard, I think, for everybody. Well, I think what was great about your guys' cast, and I talk about this on a recap that I do weekly, is that, I mean, all you guys seem awesome and have great stories and great connections with Tayshia. So everybody, like, it was just hard. The goodbyes were harder and harder and harder. So, I mean, just going back through that, I like I said, I definitely felt that. I was like, oh no.
Yeah. So okay, the goodbyes sucked. It did, man. It did. It hit me. It's like I had to relive it multiple times. I feel like, because you do it when you're on the show, and then you have to come back and you watch it back. And I mean, time now, and I just know both times when I was there and looking to, and when I saw it, I was really like not okay. You know what I mean? I guess that's the best way I can put it. And it did get me down, because I did feel very strongly about her. But at the end of the day, like I said, it was her journey. She chooses, who she chooses, and I'm very happy, for her. And she chose Zach at the end of the day. But yeah, to close it all out for me, that was not the way I wanted to go out, for sure.
Now,
I want to get married, man. Let's do this.
Yeah, I know. Let's do the damn thing. That's a famous phrase, apparently. Yeah, but it one thing, just going back during that conversation, I still felt like, you still stayed strong. Your responses as well. After that, like, did you have more time of like reflection in that? Did you like, how was that like right after?
Well, at the end of the day, it is devastated as I was in the moment. I still had to let Tayshia know who she was and how I thought, or the things that I thought about her. And obviously, in retrospect, you always believe that there was even more that you could say. And I do believe that. But I think that was one of the biggest things I wanted to get across. I was just like, hey, even though it didn't work out with me and you are incredible. You were able to bring out a side of me that I never thought I would share with people, especially not this quickly. You know, she's just amazing and she'll do great things in the world. She already has, she continues to do great things. And that was just a big thing for me when I was going out.
Now, you know, mention about like, you know, everybody kind of had a story, and we saw that even during the group date with the paintings where, and I love that you talked about having family and were these also conversations you guys were having, the guys were having, what you're allowed to say, like just off camera, just talking about personal life?
Um, yeah, I mean, it's only a 2 hour show, so there's only
Yeah.
so much,
Mhm.
you know, that you can actually see on TV. But I don't think actually, I don't remember having any conversations, you know, with the guys around the house about my family. I didn't want to do it. It was
Mhm.
just the first time I had mentioned, you know, really my family was when I was talking to Tayshia.
Mhm.
And nobody really knew anything about me, I guess, what was going on. Maybe if something came up in conversation with one of the guys, maybe one person knew a little bit something about me, but I don't think so. Um, so yeah, it was really just Tayshia has it, she can keep it, and I guess now America has it.
America
Uh,
definitely does. I, you know, going back to, because I know you studied journalism before you went off to Syracuse
yes,
for law school. Were you a print journalist? Did you want to do that? Was it radio, broadcast?
it was broadcast journalism. So I did
Okay.
start off in print because I used to like to write.
Mhm.
But then the more and more I did it, I was like, you know, I would much rather do broadcast journalism. I wanted to be in sports, you know, be a sportscaster, something like that. Let's just do that. It's fun. I like you know, talking to the people and doing the interviews on camera and stuff like that. So yeah, why not? You know, so that's what I did.
Did you ever write for the Pulse there at University of Findlay?
I did have a little stint with the Pulse when I used to do some stuff with the baseball team. But yeah,
Did that broadcasting help you though with the cameras? Because that's the other element in this being on the show is the cameras, which is obviously not always normal for most relationships and dating, having a camera there. Did you feel comfortable with the cameras?
initially it was very, very weird. I like you said, you don't date people with a camera, you know, on you 24/7, and then they're watching your every move and everything you say. So yeah, I was very, very nervous about that. But I think it was a thing about just over time you get more comfortable. You know, you
Mhm.
settle in, the cameras are always there, and then it just becomes, you know, second nature, and then you just continue to be yourself. And yeah, it was all good eventually, but I was nervous in the beginning. Yeah.
Well, talk about going from now, you go from journalism, you go to Syracuse. What chose between journalism to law school? Like, where did you have that light bulb moment that you're like, you know what, I want to pursue, I want to be a lawyer?
Actually, it was when I was in Finley. I had done an internship for I think it was like the Courier there in Finley, and it was fine. I mean, the people were great, but then I was just like, you know, I don't know if this is really the career path for me. I just didn't enjoy writing about, you know, JV, you know, games, basketball and volleyball
Yeah.
games that much.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll try my hand at law school. And I think I might have thought about it a little bit before that too, because actually, it's very, very weird. Actually, I know I did because I was watching the television show Scandal. Actually,
Oh yeah, that's a
like,
good
you know
one.
what? I was like, you know what? It would really be dope if I could be a lawyer like how they're lawyer. Obviously, it's TV, and it's actually nothing quite like that. But you know, that was one of the times that I thought about it. And then once, like I was saying, when I was with the Curry, I just knew it was time for the transition. So that's what I did.
Well, speaking of shows, like what is the most accurate portrayal of a lawyer or what law and what is the
Ooh.
most fabricated that you see in shows? Do you like to nitpick shows and movies where you're like, you know what, that's not quite true, but hey, it's entertaining.
Ah, yeah, you know what? Actually, it used to bother me a lot when I was in law school because I was like, I'm upset because I'm going through all of this stuff and I know this is not how, you know, it really is or something like that. Um, I think I had to say one of the most far off shows in terms of just law school is actually How to Get Away with Murder. It is
Mm.
nothing like that in law school. Okay, you don't work on cases. as a law student like that, murder cases and stuff. I had a hard time watching that show in the beginning, but over time it was very, very entertaining. And then the most accurate depiction, to be honest, I don't really know. I don't know. I can't think of the most accurate depiction. I don't know if any of them are very, very accurate, because at the end of the day, it would be a very, very boring television show if you just had a very accurate depiction of what lawyers do on a daily basis. It's not all court. I'm in the office right now, and this is, not all thrills in here. So
I've noticed with Bachelorette and Bachelor, there's been a lot of contestants that have been attorneys. Why do you think being an attorney makes for a great contestant on the show?
I think for me, it was the ability to be able to ask questions, because that awkward silence, that can be a killer when you're having a dinner or a conversation, with somebody that you're attracted to and want to be with. So I think that was a big thing, just being able to keep a conversation going, and then be able to, quickly respond when they say something to you. I think that helped me. And then not just even with the Bachelorette, but then around the house too, because as you can see, there was a little bit of tension
just a little bit
sometimes, just a little bit. But it helped me be able to just focus on the root of whatever their argument was, and just be able to just systematically break it down and stay calm while I'm doing it. So I really like that, and it helped me out a lot.
Would love to do the show again, or be a part of a show program again?
I guess time will tell. I didn't mind it. I think at the end of the day, it's still a love journey.
Yeah.
I'm still single, I still want a wife. Nothing has changed. People have been talking, and I have a feeling that the questions coming about, what about paradise, and what about this and that? People talk about those things. Right now we're in COVID,
Yeah.
If the beach is open, I'd consider it, of course. But it's still far off, right? We're still in Matt's season. So we're gonna let Matt have his time, and then when that comes, we can talk about it.
Well, finally, and I want to say thank you again for taking your time and your patience with all this technical stuff. But hey, got through it. It's been fun. Since we're on the sports topic, I know that you run Rebirth. How has that been going? Are you still doing a lot of things with Rebirth?
Yeah, no, I appreciate you asking. So in terms of a lot of things I do, it's more of like a side thing that I'm doing, because my main job is, as an attorney, as a medical malpractice defense attorney. But it's going fine. It's not a large practice. I actually only have one signed client that's in the minors, with the Cleveland Indians organization. And then you advise, high school and college guys, and I won't mention their names, so no one will go out there and steal the guys that I'm trying to get. But you do things like that, and I think it's good. It's going well. I enjoy that a lot.
Do you have a favorite like baseball movie, like something that you really love to watch? Yeah,
I do. All right, I'm gonna give you two of them.
Yeah,
because you can never have a baseball conversation or a movie. I'm gonna give you three. Wow,
it's hard. It's hard.
It is hard. Yeah,
hard.
This is my top three, and I'm gonna leave it at that. In no particular order, but of course you got to have The Sandlot in there. It's just a classic movie, and it's amazing. Two might be my favorite because it's about the Detroit Tigers, and it's for love of the game.
Oh, I think one of the best baseball, and so raw.
Yes, it is. And then lastly, I have to go with the more recent Moneyball. That one, Brad Pitt did a good job in there. Billy Bean, that whole situation. I love that movie too. So how could you not be romantic about baseball, right?
Yeah. Well, me, it's Field of Dreams. Even though my grandfather, who played college baseball, was like, it's not realistic. I'm like, well, and then of course, Sandlot's got to be up there. Bull Durham is a great one, another great one. Rookie of the Year. How can you not like?
Okay. Pitcher's got a big.
Angels in the Outfield.
That's a good one. There's a lot. I like that one.
I think Hardball.
Yeah.
Hardball should get a lot of credit too.
Ooh, I forgot all about Hardball for whatever
Yeah.
reason, but that was my movie growing up.
Well, because
Yeah,
when
I
you
love
look at
that one.
Keanu Reeves now, you're like John Wick.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You know what I'm saying? You don't think about, kid pitchers throwing their hands up on Biggie
Yeah.
Smalls. You don't think about that anymore. So,
Well,
no,
and
that was a great movie though.
the
That was a
rookie
good
was
one.
great, and talk about like, and such an inspiring true story, which you kind of saw with that movie Invincible with Mark Wahlberg, with the Eagles, where someone who had that dream to play never
Yeah.
got that chance, and then they get that chance.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That was what was his name? Started with a
dang
V.
it.
His last name was a V, right?
Yeah,
It's losing me, but I know what you're talking. Yeah.
I'll tell you a last name with a V, and I'm surprised we didn't just mention it. It's a classic. It's funny. Major League. Rick Vaughn.
Oh my goodness! Yes. Okay,
Charlie
give him the heater, Ricky.
Yeah.
That's the one. Yeah, Ricky
I love
Vaughn.
Wesley Snipes. He's sleeping on the field, and he wakes up. He's sprinting.
I got cut already.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a okay. I forgot about that one. That one is great.
The voodoo
also.
in the locker room.
Yeah, so many great baseball movies. I didn't realize it until we started talking about it.
The 90s were great for baseball. Like, I mean, just sports movies in general. I just feel like all around, like we were very, fortunate and blessed to have those great movies. Not that there's not, bad sports movies now, although you don't see as many. Not like then.
Right, for sure. I think I remember one of my favorite parts anyway from Major League is the announcer when he's reading off the stats and he's like, one damn hit, like just for whatever reason that just threw me off. I laugh so hard every time I see that part. And he says a little bit more, but I'm just gonna keep it at that. So it was pretty funny.
Oh, those are classics. I mean, you gotta like those. Well, Riley, I want to thank you again for taking your time. This has been a lot of fun. And where can people follow you, find you, and anything in the works now, like with Rebirth or just anything going on with you?
Well, first I'll say I appreciate you, having me on the show. Thank you so much. I always enjoy, talking to people about, the show or sports or whatever. So it's always good to do these type of things. Where can they find me? They can find me on Instagram at Riley D Christian. You can also find me at Twitter at the same thing. You can find me on TikTok at the same thing. Although I don't have any video posts yet.
No dance videos?
Coming. Not yet, but I got something good brewing, so I'm kind of hyping it up a little bit. I probably shouldn't do that, but I do have something coming. Rebirth is always good. If there's any baseball players that are looking for an agent, feel free to, reach out to me on the Instagram that I just mentioned. You can also go to therebirth.com and reach out to me there as well. Keep it coming in.
All right, man. Well, thank you again.
All right. Thank you, brother. Have a good one.
Hope you enjoyed this video. And to watch full episodes of the podcast, click here. And don't forget to subscribe to be notified for future interviews. Thank you for watching.